Next on Worcester News Tonight, counting down to hockey. The Worcester Railers message to fans 1 year from their first game. Plus, a Worcester company celebrating an important anniversary by stepping into the past. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. Well, this time next year, professional hockey will return to the city when the Worcester Railers will play their first game as a member of the ECHL, and excitement is already building. Railers club members gathered at the DCU Center tonight for the Skate to the Date to mark the one-year countdown. The Railers front office, along with new general manager and head coach Jamie Russell, spoke with club members and took questions about the new team. The Railers don't have any players or team affiliation yet. One fan we spoke with is looking forward to having hockey back in Worcester.
A great opportunity for Worcester with the investment that they put into the community, with the bar next door, the rink going in down at Kelly Square. I feel people should embrace it, you know. Hockey in Worcester, I think it belongs here, you know. It's a perfect venue for it.
The Railers will play their home games at the DCU Center. Railers mascot Trax was also at tonight's event. Well, tonight's event coming the same day as the city's Regional Chamber of Commerce celebrated the many entrepreneurs who have invested in Worcester. The Business Expo aims to celebrate and attract more businesses. Our Brittany Schaefer reports.
I just felt that Worcester was primed for success.
Worcester Railers owner Clifford Rucker was the keynote speaker at the Game Changers Expo Friday. The event showcased the many entrepreneurs who are investing in Worcester.
There's been tremendous development. There's tremendous infrastructure in place. There is city officials and city government that are welcoming.
You look for a city with a backbone, great infrastructure. You look for accessibility, transportation that works for it, and then you look at the people.
The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce hosted the event and says $3 billion worth of development is something to celebrate.
It's important to talk about the positive and highlight what those investments are doing in terms of creating the jobs and changing the city skyline.
The crowd, it's very an optimistic feeling. It's palpable, the energy that's in there. These are the people who believe in what we have going on.
Rucker is building an $18 million practice facility for the hockey team. He says development in the city has changed drastically in the past few years.
Some of that we've been involved in. We're building a 110,000-foot facility with 2 rinks in the Canal District. We're opening restaurants, we're bringing the team. So some of it was here already, and we'd like to think that we have continued the momentum.
The Chamber hopes people will continue to invest after hearing many speakers share their stories of working in Worcester.
To encourage other investors to come to Central Mass, to come to Worcester, to invest, because that is important. It creates jobs, it expands the tax base, and there's lots of opportunity.
Hopefully some of these developers will do a second and third project.
A really engaged citizenry and business community, I think it's a home run, and this city has it in spades.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester man facing assault charges accused of pointing a knife at a police officer. Mario Paulselli was arrested Wednesday night after a resident told police he attempted to enter his garage. A detective pulled Paulselli's car over at the intersection of West Boylston and Grove Streets. When Paulselli was told to get out of the car, he allegedly refused and showed a knife. The officer ordered him several times to drop the knife, but Paulselli continued to refuse. At one point, got out of the vehicle after a tense standoff during which the officer pulled out a gun. Paulselli finally dropped his weapon and was taken into custody. 2 suspected killers back in Massachusetts today and appearing in court in connection to a deadly home invasion in Orange. Audrey Assistio has the details.
They murdered a 95-year-old man and slit his wife's throat.
An emotional and at one point heated morning as dozens left Orange District Court following the arraignment of Joshua Hart and Brittany Smith. They're accused in a deadly home invasion last week. As they left the courthouse, their family and friends left in tears.
She got caught up in the wrong path with the wrong people, and She's going to pay for it now. The family's suffering enough.
Court documents reveal gruesome details of the crimes Hart and Smith are accused of. Prosecutors say the suspects broke into 95-year-old Thomas Hardy and 77-year-old Joanna Fisher's home and began beating and stabbing them. Investigators say Hardy died after suffering stab wounds and being suffocated with a pillow. They say the suspects also tried cutting Fisher's throat and suffocating her, but were unsuccessful. They stole credit and debit cards and the victim's station wagon before taking off. 2 days later, the suspects were found in a rental truck outside a Walmart in Virginia, where they were arrested.
This was a brutal, savage home invasion that occurred because Mr. Hart and Miss Smith wanted to avoid going to jail and drug treatment, respectively.
Prosecutors say the suspects admitted to devising a plan to flee the area. They told investigators they committed the deadly home invasion to go somewhere else and start a new life.
They picked this particular victim's residence because the older model car was something that matched what they were looking for.
Some of the victims' neighbors came to the arraignment.
It could have been us. I don't live too far from where this happened. And it's just, at the age of 72, I get scared.
Hart and Smith are being held without bail. Their next court date is December 20th. They face a number of charges, including murder, attempted murder, and home invasion. Now, meantime, the surviving victim in this attack, Joanna Fisher, is still in the hospital on the road to recovery. In Orange, Audrey Assistio, Worcester News Tonight.
An investigation finds a surgeon at St. Vincent Hospital was at fault for removing a healthy kidney from the wrong patient, and the hospital could end up losing its Medicare and Medicaid agreement if corrective actions aren't taken. State and federal investigators found the hospital did not follow proper patient identification procedures, which included checking birth dates, leading to a kidney removal from the wrong patient. The patients reportedly had the same name, but were several years apart in age. St. Vincent Hospital released a statement saying, quote, "We are working to implement enhanced safeguards as identified in the CMS survey, including additional verification steps with physicians. This was a deeply unfortunate situation, and we will take steps necessary to prevent it from happening again." A BioSearch Center in Worcester celebrating its 25th anniversary today by looking into the past. AbbVie BioSearch Center opened up a time capsule from 1991, sharing some timeless memories while also looking to the future. It was a blast from the past.
Think about 1985. How many of you were working in 1985?
Old pictures, cassette tapes, videotapes, just some of the items in this Worcester time capsule from students at Tantasqua Magnet Elementary School.
Airplanes flying into Worcester. One of the students 25 years ago predicted that would happen.
This time capsule sealed the same year AbbVie's BioSearch Center set up shop in Worcester. Johann Saufeld remembers it like it was yesterday.
It was a very exciting moment. We were based in Cambridge in a very small facility at the time, and looking forward to a beautiful, large, custom-built building in Worcester was exciting.
Now the building has more than 800 workers. While the time capsule served as a reminder of the past, the team is hoping it can build a future beyond the next 25 years.
Next 25 years, again, continued growth and being in drug discovery. I'm hoping that healthcare and the treatment of these life-threatening diseases is even more advanced.
Items were placed in the time capsule and it was resealed for the next 25 years. So the time capsule will be next opened in 2041. And for one indication of how long ago 1991 was, some members of the Worcester News Tonight staff weren't even born yet. Moving on, the American Heart Association recognizing 7th and 8th graders from Tantasqua Junior High School as a hands-only CPR school. Today, students learned CPR and about automated external defibrillators. As our Rosalind Flaherty shows us, the training comes after the school experienced an emergency when a student went into cardiac arrest.
By some chance, by some miracle, there was an AED there.
2 years ago, Paul Henry's daughter Catherine collapsed in this stairwell at Tantasqua Junior High School. Catherine went into cardiac arrest. Her father says her heart stopped beating for almost 10 minutes. A few feet away was the automated external defibrillator that saved her life.
Was able to do what it's supposed to do and brought her back to life.
Catherine was later diagnosed with a heart condition. Her father says he's thankful the school had an AED.
AEDs they're very simple devices. They're 2 pads with stickers on them. but they can save not only children's lives, but adults' lives as well.
Friday, the American Heart Association recognized the junior high as a hands-only CPR smart school. The 7th and 8th graders are receiving training in CPR, as well as the use of an AED as part of the school's health curriculum.
High school, or students in general, really actually react quicker and calmer than most adults, and so by getting them to know CPR, they could really save a life.
Right now, it is not required to have AEDs in Massachusetts schools. State Senator Ann Gopi says there is a bill pending to make it a requirement. She is hoping it passes by the end of this year.
Some people will say, well, gee, you know, the state's putting on an extra cost for these schools. But when you look at what the cost of an AED is, most cases no more than $10,000. That's a very small investment to save someone's life.
Tantasqua Junior High's principal, Chris Starcheski, was there when Catherine fell ill. He'd encouraged schools who don't have an AED to try to get one.
If we didn't have that device, it would have been, potentially could have been really bad consequences.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News.